cryptocurrencies adoption, payments and banking solutions for financial inclusion.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Cryptocurrencies Adoption, Payments and Banking Solutions for Financial Inclusion. It's wonderful to be here and wonderful to sit with these great gentlemen here. We've had quite a few chats today. So nice to meet you guys and very excited for this engaging conversation about cryptocurrency adoption. I think just to start off, maybe we can just do a round of introductions. So just starting with Jonathan, can you just tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for introducing. Pleasure to be here. My first time in Cape Town. Beautiful country, beautiful people. So basically, I'm the founder and CEO of Biptap. We're the world's first omni bank. Basically, what it is we provide crypto debit card white label solutions for anybody that want to do their own crypto cards. And we have banking as a service, where we provide banking, offshore banking infrastructure for anybody who wants to white label their own bank. So we essentially imagine like we are the banking app without a bank. So basically, we bring banking infrastructure to companies or countries that has local banking restrictions. So that's essentially what we do. We bring banks to you. So yeah, that's basically what we do.
Thanks for that, Jonathan. Apollo?
Thank you so much. My name is Apollo Eric, CEO and co-founder for Bitlipa. We are bridging the gap between crypto and fiat world. So we do on and off ramping. We also do processing in fiat alone, so pay-ins, payout, and settlements. And I'm really glad to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Apollo. Ebenezer?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Ebenezer Ghanney. I run a company called WeWire. What we do is B2B cross-border payments. We help businesses in Africa get access to offshore banking. We also help them be able to pay suppliers. They use our platform for invoicing solution to invoice their counterparties and receive money. So we sit between remittance companies and corporates across African markets. Yeah.
Very cool. So, I mean, just to jump straight into it, cryptocurrency is no longer a niche experiment. It's now a mainstream force, and it's definitely driving a change in the financial landscape within the world. I mean, now with the US administration, crypto reserve funds, these are the type of things that we're hearing every single day. So the question is that where are we in this adoption curve? Where are we going? How are we bringing on the next billion customers and users onto the crypto landscape, getting them banked, getting them into the financial ecosystem? And I think a good starting point would be to speak to Apollo, who's dealing in 15 plus countries in Africa, deals with on-ramps and off-ramps, and has a solution which deals with these type of problems. So Apollo, where are we at and where are we going?
Thank you for the question. When we began 5 years ago, we were dealing mainly with retail clients. So individuals buying crypto for speculative purposes. We went even into building a DeFi model where we would be able to extend short-term loans to individuals in different sectors. So we would build liquidity pools in stablecoins and be able to off-ramp that local currency. And it was amazing because guys were paying back their loans, even the small businesses, and it was just cool what you could be able to do with crypto. But right now where we are, there's a lot of regulation coming in. There's a lot of institutions coming in. I've seen so many funds set up to just support crypto companies, but also to invest in crypto coins, as hedge funds. And I think we're at a phase where there's what you would call mass adoption at the initial stage for institutions. Because if we were doing on and off ramp for individuals the last 5 years, right now we are doing it for businesses. Mm-hmm. Because businesses are more interested in how can I be able to send money from Kenya to Nigeria instantly without any delays, cost down, and not so much pressure. And stablecoin is providing that channel to be able to do that. So I think that the future is really bright for crypto. And Africa is one of the places where it's needed the most at the moment.
So do you think that institutions are pushing adoption of cryptocurrency? Do you think they are the main force at the moment that is pushing us into the next phase?
I think so. I mean, last year, crypto was a very big issue in the US. It was a campaign issue. And you've seen the likes of BlackRock's coming in with all the billions of dollars behind them. So institution is going to push the price, but even the adoption, because it's the smaller people, it's you and me that needs to be able to make the bigger businesses work. Because if you're talking about businesses coming into the space, it's because they are serving all of us at the end of the day.
That's very interesting. I think what's also interesting is that how crypto is being adopted in different places in the world. How it's being adopted in Africa, how it's being adopted in Southeast Asia, how it's being adopted in North America. And I think it looks at, how many people are banked in a first world country like like the United States versus how many people are banked in Africa, and how's money being moved and who's moving that money. And I think an interesting question, and maybe a good place to start, would be with Jonathan, because Jonathan's working a lot on the banking side of things, and he's integrating crypto solutions into a banking infrastructure already. So doing that, Jonathan, from your perspective and based on where you are geographically, how are you seeing the adoptions of cryptocurrency? What are the use cases from your side, especially from a banking perspective?
I think personally, right, I think it's inevitable that all banks at the end of the day will end up having to adopt cryptocurrencies, right? Because if they don't do that, at the end of the day, everybody, if the mass retail start to want to adopt crypto, they will be pulling their money out and then they will be buying crypto and storing somewhere else. So I think cryptocurrencies is inevitable. And how do I think banks should integrate cryptocurrencies? I think the first most important thing is stable coins, right? Like what Apollo mentioned. Why? It's very simple, because right now, I think let's just talk about Africa alone, right? There's, I guess, multi-millions of people all over the world working in every country, and the money coming into Africa is huge, right? Just cross-border transfers. And how are they paying right now? It's all monopolized by, I don't know, like Western Union or World Bank or something like that, right? So at the end of the day, they are paying huge amount of fees and waiting days or even weeks just to send money to their families. So stable coins is actually like cryptocurrency stable coins actually solve a lot of problems in cross-border. Right? I think the second solution that I think that banks will need to integrate is like a hybrid banking solution. I would call it like Omnibank. Basically what Omnibank is something similar, like, because for traditional banks to be able to accept crypto, they are all legacy systems. For them to accept crypto or even to build cryptocurrency friendly infrastructure within the bank is going to take years, right? Like even Dubai and Singapore is still struggling to catch up, right? I'm from Singapore, by the way. So I would say platforms that actually integrate and allow individual users and companies to actually have access to banks, offshore banks, or banking rails, or payment processors. Like for example, let's say integrating B2B partners from Asia to banking rails in Africa, right? We don't need them to be able to come all the way here to try to get a banking account, try to navigate. So what we have created, I think, what is needed in the space is a fintech solution, a hybrid solution that integrates global banking with crypto. So I think that's what I think is needed in the space right now.
Okay, and obviously with your banking solutions, guys get a bank account, they can have a credit card, they can go use them at stores, and if they need to get money moved into their account, they can get money moved through crypto, right? So it cuts those barriers to get money movement and also the usage and the utility of their money, their own sovereign money. Is that right?
Exactly, because that is the problem with fiat right now. I mean, fiat is cash, right? Because a lot of people are stuck in the simulation that they have to keep their money in the bank, right? So that solves the problem, because cryptocurrency, you keep it in your crypto wallet. And then a lot of people in the Web2 space assume that, my cryptocurrency, how can I spend it in real life? Like, how can I buy a cup of coffee? So there's going to be a lot of solutions right now that allows people to load their crypto and then spend it anywhere around the world, right? We don't need the merchant to accept crypto, but we work with like Visa, MasterCard, UnionPay to allow that conversion of crypto for users, normal users like you and I, to spend their crypto anywhere around the world. So that's, I think, is a very important key for mass adoption, because we don't expect normal people to learn how to use crypto. We need it as seamless as possible for people to be able to use it.
100%. It's amazing that we can get these platforms now that get everybody integrated into the financial system. Speak to Ebenezer. I mean, cash is quite a big way of paying, a way of using funds in Africa. What's going to happen to the cash landscape in Africa? Are we going to move over to stable coins? Is cash going to still exist? And coming to your side of also money movement, I mean, is this going to change the way that people see money? No longer cash, stable coins, have a wallet, send it wherever you want, use it wherever you want. Is that a reality that we might see in Africa in 10 or 15 years' time?
I think the landscape has already changed. If you go to countries like Nigeria, Ghana, cash is not that used because bank transfers are instant. Mobile money payments are instant. People are not using cash as much as we think people are using cash in Africa. Most countries you go to are adopting new ways of moving money, and banking rails are improving. Mobile money is also keen. I was in Kenya about 2 weeks ago. If you try paying your cab driver with cash, they don't have change. They want M-Pesa. That's the easiest way they collect money. So it's changing across board. Everyone is moving online. We provide a solution where we enable a lot of fintechs and a lot of payment institutions. We provide the infrastructure. We sit on the B2B side, and we see adoption grow. We have a collection and disbursement rails across different countries, and we see people using those rails more and more. So we are moving from cash, and stablecoins is another layer. We have been, over the past 3 years, been using stablecoins as a rails to help businesses move money across border. We've processed well over $2 billion on that, and we see growth every month. We see growth from businesses. We see interest from businesses. Businesses like Starlink is now repatriating money out of Africa using stablecoins as a rails to send money back to the HQ. So we are constantly seeing growth in the adoption of crypto rails and digital rails.
Interesting. So tell me, do you think that stablecoins might be the only way, or not the only way, but the main way to move money in the future? Or, are gone the days where you go to the bank and you get a forex rate and you ask them to send money for you? Is that going to still exist in 10 years' time?
I think stablecoins is going to exist and grow in that space because most African currencies are fluctuational. So the diligence or the people are now moving towards stable currencies as a way to hedge their money and as a way of store of value. If you look at currencies like the CD, the Naira, have been performing very poorly over the past 2 years. And most people you speak to on the ground are now saving their money in stable currencies because it pegs themselves, and it's not like the dollar where having local bank accounts in dollars is restrictive. There's controls around that, how you want to move your money out of your own account, and there's a lot of restrictions around that. But you can keep it in stable currencies, and which is easier, or you can keep it in, I don't want to mention names, but you can keep it in stable currencies, and it's easier for you to move money across and pay people.
No, definitely. I think, there's so many different currencies in Africa, so there's definitely a use case because of the depreciation of certain currencies to keep your money in stables. Just interesting how the different governments will deal with that over time, and whether you're going to actually have to off-ramp it every time you want to use it so that you keep the demand of those currencies strong. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, regulation is increasingly changing. We had Nigeria release their VAPS license last year and regulated 2 companies now. They are in the process of allowing more entities into the batch. Ghana is also coming up with regulation this year. Kenya has also started something around regulation. So we've seen across board, South Africa is already licensed about 50 players in the market space already. So regulation across the African continent is changing. Just that we didn't have one central bank or one united front. You have to go country by country to get the license. So that's what the barriers we have at the moment. But as time goes on, we've seen markets like Ghana and Rwanda now piloting license passporting. Once we have more countries passporting license across board, then we can see the adoption growth because exchanges need to be licensed, players like us need to be licensed in the space, and that will lead to more adoption.
No, so I guess that comes down to the next part of the topic about adoptions and regulation. Is regulation going in the right direction here in Africa, particularly? I want to go with Apollo. How are you seeing regulation at the moment? Is it pushing us into the right direction, into mainstream adoption?
Regulation is good. We need to know that whoever is doing business is doing the right thing and the consumers are protected. Most of the time, the problem is the people who are regulating, they don't really understand. They don't have technical understanding or even experience about really how the market works. And so they will come up with rules and a framework that is more protective instead of opening up the market. And I think that they need to be more involved in the startup scene, and even as more and more commercialized and experienced businesses are coming into the space, they need to be more involved so that they can learn on exactly the best way to regulate. Because if you choke the market, you're not really promoting the growth. And like, for instance, right now, I'm thinking about having a coin called Apollo coin. And I have a barber shop. If you come to my barber shop, I'll require you to pay in Apollo coin. Why? Because if you pay me in Apollo coin, I can easily convert it into stable coin or any other currency. Now, that's a unique coin that is just dedicated to Apollo. And this is exactly how money is going to change in the future. So the regulation needs to be broad and really look into the details of the technology, because it's enabling so much more than what the old money was able to do. Yeah.
No, 100%, 100%. I think it's allowing us to get into that next phase, allowing institutions to get involved and institutions to push that adoption into the next phase. I think without regulation, it's quite difficult to get that institutional adoption, which in turn would not push the world into the next direction. I think we're running out of time, so I think maybe we can just end off with some closing thoughts. Perhaps, Jonathan, you can just tell me about what you think is in store for the next 5-10 years. What kind of adoption we're going to be seeing, maybe in context of gambling, maybe. Give us some of your thoughts as a closing thoughts.
In Africa or global?
Global, I think, is also good.
I think it's a very, very good move that Trump is in power now. So I think Trump has already done a lot of things that we are all hoping for, which is legitimizing cryptocurrencies just by himself putting in the forefront. So I think it's a good 5 years that we'll be expecting, especially these 4 years with him in power. He's doing everything he needs to actually make US as the leading hub for cryptocurrency. So as a whole, global entities, whether iGaming space or crypto or Forex or whatever, I think it's very bullish. I am personally very bullish. The reason is because with Trump in power now, previously it was very scary because the old administration was trying their very best to find or fault every single thing that they don't understand, right? Even crypto exchanges, even DEXs, even whatever it is. As long as they don't understand, they don't regulate, they don't earn from it, they make it illegal. But right now, US is focusing on US themselves. And I think it is a very good thing for global market to be able to focus on what they have been waiting for. So I think this 4 years is a golden opportunity for anyone in the iGaming space, in the crypto space, to actually start doing and deploying what you want to do, to just take the risk. Because, everyone is now focusing on bringing on board the masses instead of trying to cannibalize each other. So that's what I think. The next 5 years is extremely bullish for me, personally, I think, especially in the iGaming space.
There's definitely a shift. Apollo and Ebenezer, if you just have some last closing thoughts before we end on what we expect to see in the next few years in adoption.
I think that crypto is maybe at less than 10% adoption globally. And if you look for the last 10 years, even the volatile ones have been appreciating by around 30 to 50%. So if you want to preserve your value, if you want to participate in global economy, crypto really is the best place to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think everyone has said it. The market is still going to grow. And where adoption comes in, regulatory becomes clear, adoption grows. So we are seeing the regulatory clarity coming on board. So once that is done, although some markets move slower, but once that we get to a level where everyone is on board and regulation is clear, we see more growth in the space.
No, cool, definitely. Guys, thank you very much for your thoughts and your opinions. It was very engaging. I think we could close it off now. We're just about to end. I don't know if we get finished or do we carry on?
Be quite proud of the time you've held. You have 23 seconds on the clock.
20 seconds.
I mean, it's all yours.
20
it's all
seconds.
Yours. Exhausted.
20 seconds. Crypto adoption is definitely going to be growing over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that from a gambling perspective, from a gaming perspective, from a payments perspective, from a whole financial landscape perspective, I think the world is absolutely changing. And us in industry are seeing this every day in the growth of our businesses, in the growth of usage. And it's just very interesting to see which direction it goes. So thank you everyone for your time.